Assalamualaikum mbokk yi ma ngi leen a nuyu di leen dalalaat si beneen vidéo on the Jollof Football Bantaba YouTube channel man la seen waay Chama suma gars yi noo leen def nag tey nag dama bëggoon a waxtaan ak yéen about the Gambia under 20 and the upcoming under 20 World Cup which will be held in Indonesia where Gambia will be one of 24 teams participating. So I want to give you all the informations about the upcoming World Cup and also look back to our history Gambia naka leen def because this is our second time qualifying for this competition, and then I will look back how we did when we when we were there in the last time in 2007. But suma guys bala maa dugga si any discussion suma guys su fekkee ne da ngeen doog a ñëw si Jollof Football Bantaba YouTube channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button to help us grow. And also su fekkee ne yéen a ngi enjoy lan leen dee def si biir channel bii nii, please give us a thumbs up. The thumbs up, every single thumbs up count. And yeah, there is also the notification bell, guys. If you hit the notification bell anytime we share any video relating to Gambian football or football in general, you will be the first to know, guys. So without wasting much time, let's get right into the discussion. First of all, dañoo started si suñu under 20 bi di leen maslawu rek. I think we did that on Sunday when we recorded man ak coach on the Gambia football show. Waxtaan a lot about the performance that the boys did in Egypt, where they went from where they played all the way to the finals, and then unfortunately in the finals the results did not go our way, and then I think we came up against a better team on that day. Senegal were the better team and they won, so they deservedly won. But ba léegi ñun suñ xale yi ay jàmbaare ay national heroes leen comme nu ma ko waxee woon foofu noonu rek. And to play a competition, go from start to finish without conceding a goal, winning every single game, and then losing the game on the final day of the competition against a Senegal team who, as we know, they are now the standard of African football. They are one of the best teams they are actually the best team in Africa. They won the African Cup of Nations. They won the CHAN competition, and now they won the under 20 competition. So within the space of 1 year, Senegal are doing something big in African football. Like I say, guys, suñ next door neighbors leen, so we can learn a lot from them. Mun nañoo dem foofu noonu jànga. It's not far away from us. So yeah, dañ war a use opportunity boobu noonu ne ko ñoom rek bu si gars yi njëriñ lu ñun tam ñu bokk si ñu njëriñ li si gars seen progress. But I think that is also having an impact in Gambian football at this moment in time, because soo ko seetee ba seet Gambia back to back they are in the under 20 competition. Last time they finished third, and this time they finished second. They are moving step by step, like Coach Ablai Bojang said in his post game press conference. We are taking steps and we are progressing. But on the day, we were just second best to Senegal, and they deservedly won. But Belegi, we have a big thing to look forward to, because like Coach said, the goal was to qualify for the World Cup in Indonesia, which the boys did very well, because they did that by progressing to the semi-final alone and then progressing to the final. So now we have a World Cup to look forward to, and the World Cup will be played in Indonesia. Like I say, it's in Asia, Indonesia. And it will be participated. It will be competed by 24 teams, of which 4 teams will be African teams: Gambia, Senegal, Tunisia, and Nigeria. These are the 4 teams that will be representing Africa. And currently, the Asian competition, the Asian under 20 competition, is currently ongoing. They are in the semi-final stage, and also similar to the African Cup. African under 20 competition, there are top 4 teams who progress to the semi-final will go to the World Cup, which means the full set for the World Cup, the 24 teams that will be participating in the World Cup in Indonesia have now been confirmed. Yesterday, like Asia played last semi-final, Japan and South Korea, they won their games. They're gonna be part of the team. So yes, we didn't win the African Cup of Nations again, guys, but we still have a lot of things to be excited about, because this team, they have shown that they are not stopping here, and they are progressing to a very, very, very important tournament. To be honest, the under 20 competition is a very, very, very important tournament, and I will tell you why later in the discussion, and I will tell you the number of players, the names, the big name players that have gone through this competition, that have made their name through this competition. So this is a big, big opportunity for our under 20, for our baby Scorpion. So I'm looking forward to this competition. So yeah, but first of all, and let's look at the teams that have qualified for the World Cup that will be participating in the World Cup in Indonesia, the 24 teams. This is just our friend Wikipedia. I just went there and then copied the list of teams. So in AFC, which is Asia, there is Indonesia, the host, Iraq, Japan, and South Korea and Uzbekistan. So they're gonna have 5 teams participating in that region. And then in CAF region, like I say, Gambia, Nigeria, Senegal, and Tunisia. And in the CONCACAF area, you have Dominican Republics who are coming for the first time. This is their debut competition. Guatemala, their second time participation, Honduras, and United States of America. In the Commonwealth region, that is the South American area, you have Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, and Uruguay. These teams will be participating from that region. And OFC, Oceania area, you have Fiji and New Zealand to participate. And then in the UEFA region, which is Europe, you have England, France, Israel, Italy, and Slovakia. So this is the list of 24 teams that will be participating in the Under 20 World Cup, which will be played in Indonesia, and the tournament is scheduled to start in May. So May will be the commencement of this competition. There's a lot of good teams with experience when it comes to playing in this kind of competition. You have Nigeria from Africa. They have been this is going to be their 13th participation in this competition. They have finished runner-up twice in 1989 and in 2005. And then Senegal, this is going to be their 4th participation. They are also their best performance was in 2015 when they finished 4th. And then you look at the South American region, you see Brazil. This is their 19th time to participate in this competition. They have been champions in 1983, 1985, 1993, 2003, and 2011. So they have been 5 times champions. I believe they are they are the teams with the highest finals in this competition, or the 5 highest trophies in this competition. And then you look at the United States too. They have been participating for the 17th time. This is and then you look at the Asian team, Japan and South Korea, 11 and 16th time participation. And then you look at Europe, England, this is their 12th time participation, and French and Italy, this is their 8th time. So these are teams with a lot of experience and where football is a big thing. So it's not going to be an easy tournament, to be honest, because the teams are going to be very strong, and this is a youth competition, so you never know. And a lot of players, usually, this is where they make their names. And if you look at Gambia in 2016 or in 2007, that was our maiden competition in the under 20 categories. And then we went all the way to the round of 16, which I will discuss more in detail later in this show. So yeah, last 2007 we finished in the round of 16, and this is our second participation this year. The next one in Indonesia, this one in Indonesia, the upcoming one in Indonesia will be our second participation. But it is also worth noting that in 2021 we finished 3rd in the African Cup of Nations, which also meant that we qualified for the 2021 World Cup. But unfortunately for us, that time the COVID hit, and the 2021 World Cup was cancelled. So that's why Gambia could not participate. So technically, we can say Gambia have qualified 3 times for the World Cup, but in actuality, they will only play in 2 of them. Yeah, so yeah, this is how it is looking, and it's gonna be very interesting. The seeding for the groups have already been made, and I will show you how they look like. Of course, FIFA, they have their FIFA rankings, and that is what they use. And of course, the performance of the teams in the last 5 years, like the under 20 teams' performance in the last 5 years, to give the teams the seeding. Indonesia, of course, they are number 1 seed because they are hosting the competition, so they will be in pot 1. So there are 4 pots in total. You have pot 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if you can see, Gambia is in pot 4. That is the 4th group of the draw. Senegal, the other African team, they are in pot 1, and Nigeria, who have been very successful in this competition, like I said, they have been runner-ups a couple of times. They are in pot 3, and Tunisia and Gambia, they are in pot 4 from Africa. So this is how the pots are looking. Pot 1, you have Indonesia, the host, Uruguay, United States of America, and then France, Senegal, and Italy. And then pot 2, England, South Korea, New Zealand, Brazil, Colombia, and Ecuador. And then pot 3, you have Nigeria, Japan, Uzbekistan, Iraq, Honduras, and Fiji. In pot 4, you have Guatemala, Dominican Republic, Gambia, Israel, Slovakia, and Tunisia. That is the pot. And also, it's also important to note that two teams from the same federation, federation, I would say, they are CAF. Like for example, if Gambia and Senegal are from CAF, they cannot be in the same group. Nigeria likewise, Tunisia likewise, and Indonesia. And the same thing goes for the other like continents as well. So these are the pots. But looking at the pots for me, it looks very interesting. By the way, the draw will be done end of this month. That is March 31st. Look out for that one. Once the draw is done, we will be back here to also, shed our light on the Gambia group and look at our prospects going into the competition. So March 31st will be the draw for the World Cup in Indonesia in May. Actually, the Asian competition is still ongoing. That's why, because they are in the semi-final stage. Yesterday they played their quarter-final games. They will play the semi-final stage, the semi-final games this week, and then the final I think is gonna be in the weekend. So after that, then the draw will be done. I am following that one because of course I am in Japan and I follow the Japanese team. I'm watching some of their games and seeing how they are doing in this competition, and they are looking pretty impressive. But you can see, like, if we have to draw against them, for example, I can see some points where something like I can kind of see some areas where we can exploit them. In other words, because of where we are, like in our physicality. Even though we played our last game against Senegal, we considered 2 goals from corner from headers, and we had a lot of good set piece chances, but we did not take them. But if you look at the physique of our players, the size of our players, if we work on our set pieces, these are areas that you can hurt these Asian teams because they are not physically strong and they are not they are not physically imposing. Japan in the competition, they have conceded about 3 goals and all of them from corner kicks or stuff like that. Like, they literally don't challenge for corners because they are too small and physically they are not that strong. So this is an area that I can say, okay, if Gambia was to play Japan in this competition, it's something I would like to, information I would like to, I would like Coach Lai Boyang to know that this team is this. But yeah, we are not yet in the competition. I was just talking about Japan in general in terms of saying what they are doing in the competition right now. But yeah, that is it. And so yeah, that's the pot. If I was to make a group for Gambia, like if I was to choose some teams that, like in pot 1, I would choose United States. They are usually very good when it comes to youth football. They have been participating very well, but it's a team that I think we can beat. I think if we compete against them, we can compete well against them. In Group 1, I think, in Part 1, I think United States and Indonesia are teams that I would rather have. But I would take United States because I cannot have Japan and Indonesia in the same group because they are from the same federation. And I want Gambia to play Japan because, yeah, of course, that will be a derby for me and with my Japanese friends and stuff like that. So I would like to see that game. I would like to see us in the same group. And I think watching the Gambia team and watching the Japanese team, I see they are very good technically, but I think we can do a job against them, to be honest. Yeah. And then we're looking at the Group 2, Pot 2. There are some very tough teams there, to be honest. England, they have really leveled up when it comes to youth football in the last few years. Recently, they won the Under-17 and they won the Under-20 in, I think, in the last 4 years or something. They won both competition. I can remember Phil Foden and Jadon Sancho, those players, Ryan Brewster, they did well and they won the competition. So these are players now who are like established footballers in their clubs. Of course, Brewster now, he has kind of dropped. He was the leading goal scorer in that competition, I can remember, in India. So they are a difficult team now to play in terms of youth football. They are improving a lot. It used to be not their strength, but now it seems it's becoming their strength. So yeah, I think I would take New Zealand, obviously, for obvious reason. I think if you look at the other names in this spot, New Zealand seems like the easiest one. But of course, you cannot underestimate any team. They have done a job to get into the World Cup, so you cannot underestimate them. But yeah, if I were to choose the team, so I'm talking about US, New Zealand, Japan, and Gambia. That would be my preferred group, and I think Gambia can do a job. Yeah. The Japan one, I would maybe Fiji or even Honduras or even Iraq. You never know. Uzbekistan. These are all maybe teams that are easier than Japan, but maybe the Japan I just picked them because of like it's gonna be a derby for me because I'm in Japan and all those kind of things. Yeah, but that is it. That is it, guys. Let's look back to our last under 20 team that went on under 20 team that went up to this level. Yeah, that was in 2007. If you guys remember well, time ñoom Ousmane Diallo, time ñoom Pamoudou Diagne da, koo xam ne moom dafa dem all the way under 17, under 20, and then mu ñëw African Cup of Nations. He did all the categories in Gambian football, which is like dafa jar it's a big thing because we don't qualify for a lot of things. So for one player to be available for all these three competitions, and not to mention, not to forget Ibrahim Sohna because he was also there in the under 20, he was there in the under 17. So these two players, they are true legends of Gambian football. To be honest, they are true legends of Gambian football. Last year they were at the African Cup of Nations. That captained the team, and Sohna was there giving motivation to the boys and stuff like that. Yeah, these people then just like you should never be forgotten in Gambian football. They are two massive players in Gambian football, and we need to shed light on those two on these two players. Yeah, it was in 2007, and the competition was played in Canada. This was the second time Gambia qualified for a World Cup because the same group of players, not everyone, maybe there were a few tweaks here and there, but similar team, they were in the 2005 under 17 World Cup. When they won the under 17 World Cup, African Cup of Nations in the Gambia, then they went to the World Cup and then they participated, represented Gambia. Unfortunately, in the under 17, we started very well, won our first two games in that competition. Then by some bizarre situation, we lost the final game against Netherlands, if I remember well, and then we were eliminated 6 points. I think that I cannot remember any team in world football that went to a competition in a group stage of 4, 6 points, and then you fail to qualify for the group. It was very unfortunate circumstance for that, and that team was very good. If you remember well, their first game was against Brazil, the Brazil of Marcelo, those kind of players, and then yeah, they did well, won 3-1. Players like Zico, they made their name there. Ousmane Diallo was there, Pamoudou Diagne, I will repeat his name again. Ibrahim Sohna was there, all of these players. So yeah, that was the team. But the 2007 team, they were one step better when it comes to the World Cup because even though they lost their first game in that competition, they played Mexico and they lost 3-0. If you remember well, Carlos Vela of Arsenal, then Giovanni Dos Santos, I think he played for Barcelona at some point. Those players were there. Dos Santos scored in that game actually. And then we lost the game 3-0 in our first game. But then we bounced back really well and then win our next two games. And that meant we qualify for the next round of that competition. Yeah, we played New Zealand. We won 1-0. Actually, the New Zealand that I want to have in the same group again, we played them in the second game. We won 1-0. Osjalo scored that game. And then the third game we played against Portugal. We won Portugal 2-1. Osjalo again score with Ken Mansali. Ken Mansali, left footed, very good footballer. Yeah. Magi fare ku jamano guys. But yeah, this was the match report of the World Cup. The World Cup report where the Gambia page. I just took the snapshot from the report and then paste it here. I will post the report on in this YouTube video in the description section. I will post the link to this report and then you can read how Gambia did. And if you look at the big names in that competition, the three names that they mentioned as the outstanding players from the Gambia was Pamoudou Diagne, and he was playing as a striker then. He was playing as a striker with Osjalo, and Osjalo was one of them. And Ding, the goalkeeper Ding, he was too very good, he was a very, very good goalkeeper. If you look back to the Gambia squad back then, I have the list of players here. And I will just share it with you. You have Joseph Gomez, which is Nding as goalkeeper. Then you have Pierre Gomez, Furmus Mendy, Alaji Ngom, Alaji Basse, right back. He was so good. And then I'm Ken Jame, and he was the captain of the team, Ken Jame. And then you have Momadou Bojang, he was the other centre back. Keba Ba, Paul Jata, Pamoudou Diagne, number 9, Landing Conte, Ibrahim Sohna. Those two players, like I tell you guys, Abdoulaye Mansali, Ousmane Diallo, Seni Nyasi, Sana Nyasi, Tijan Jaite, Christopher Allen. I think he was part of the AFCON team, like as one of the goalkeeping, part of the technical team for the African Cup. Don't quote me on that, but I think he was. I kind of have that feeling. And then Sana Nyasi, Abdou Cisse, Ibrahima Jata, Modou Ngom. The only big name that was missing in this competition was Zico. Modou Cisse Zico. I think he had an injury and he could not make the under 20. Which of course, if we had him in this competition, he could have made it different. Even though Pamo Jan, he did very well as a striker covering there. But if we could have Modou Cisse Zico, I think he would, because he had an exceptional World Cup. I think after that World Cup, he was one of the biggest talked about players, like in Gambian football, to be honest. Like, teams were going all after him and things like that. He had some trials with some big clubs in Europe back then. Yeah, but unfortunate for him, his injuries were not his best friend. So he had suffered a lot of bad injuries, especially on his knee. Yeah, it was very unfortunate that we did not realize that talent that we had in Modou Cisse Zico. Yeah. But that was the team, guys. And of course, let's not forget about the coach and Dempsey Yala, Bonu Johnson, Coach Bonu. I think one of the biggest coaches in Gambian football. One of the biggest names in Gambian football when it comes to coaching. He coached the national team. He coached the under 17, but unfortunately, we lost him. Yal nako yala yirem hare ko ajana bugena ko wesi ajana. Yeah. He was a very, very good coach. I am privileged to be coached by him at some point. It was not long, because when I was younger, I spent some time playing for Flemings a little bit, and then also during Nametan I played for Colony United, and these are two teams that he's very close to. When it comes to Flemings, it was actually his team. If you look at his list of teams he played for, it was one of them was Flemings. It was one of his teams. So he used to come to training sometimes, and then he will take up some coaching. And also Colony United, where I have my coach Pa Jaju. He was a very good close friend to Bonu. So ñom ñep ma leena jale si Bonu wati. But yeah, I was privileged to be coached by him, and up to this day I can remember the little time I spent with him, and the little things that he said. And some of these things are still in me. I try to implement it. It was some little things he did within 30 minutes or something, but still they are very fresh in my memory. He is one of the biggest coaches in Gambian football. Yeah, yalla ko yaga di ko yerem way Coach Bonu Johnson. Yeah. So yeah, guys, that was our team, and this was the team photo, and you can see Nding ñom Ding felenele Tijan Jayde, Ibrahima Sohna, nga am Os Diallo, Ket na Bojang, ak Paper mo doon play left back bi this time, nga am Abdou Basse, nga am ñom da, nga am Ken Jame, Ken Mansali ak Seni Nyasi. Yeah, that was the team we started the competition with, and yeah, we really did well. And if you can see here, you can see, I think Gambia finished 10th in terms of the rankings of the competition. So to do that in your first competition out of 24 teams, I think that is a respectable position to be in. That was a good one. But since then, we have not qualified for the World Cup again until, of course, like I said, in 2021 we are supposed to go, but due to the COVID, that World Cup was cancelled. So we will be back this year, and with a little bit more experience, and another opportunity for a lot of kids to make their name. Maybe let's see who's gonna excel. Hopefully the whole team. That's how you gotta pray. Hopefully the whole team will just use this opportunity and then take a step on their career, because this is where a lot of players took steps in their career. In 2017, some of the names, the player of the competition, the player of the tournament in 2017 was Aguero. Kun Aguero. I think everybody know Kun Aguero. What he later become. Aguero was the leading goal scorer. He scored 6 goals in that competition, and then he got the player of the tournament. And some very notable names in that competition. You look at the Chile team. Alexis Sanchez, Arturo Vidal. ñoom ñëpp a ngi doon play that competition. And then I think Sanchez moo amoon mbaga issue bi, then ñu taxal ko mbaga bi mu nekk di play. Understand nga I think he dislocated his shoulder, and then after guy taxal ko mbaga bi su nekkul moom muy Suarez daal moom la kenn la si woon. Suarez also, Luis Suarez of Uruguay, and Edison Cavani. This is where they made their name. Cavani was captaining them, if I remember well, and he looked like a very exceptional striker from that competition. That's when I know about Edison Cavani from this competition, and up to this day we all know what he has done in football. He was one of the top strikers. Like I say, Aguero, Di Maria, who just won the World Cup with Argentina. He was also part of the Argentina team in that competition. Alex Pato, you can remember him well at at Brazil, who played also in England at some point. I think he played for Chelsea sometime. And then you have Giovanni dos Santos, who I mentioned his name before. Usman Jallo. Usman Jallo was one of the top players, Gambia, and he really stepped on after from there. Then you have Amkumeloni, Mauricio Isla. He also Chile team. He also made his name in that competition. So yeah, there were a lot of players who made their names in this competition. If you look at the list, Javier Hernandez, Chicharito of Manchester United, he also made his name in this competition. So this is not a light competition. This is where players make their names. This is where, like, because everybody is watching, every team is watching. So, but I am very confident with the boys. If you watch what they played in the African Cup of Nations, how they dominated their games in most cases, except of course our final game when we came up against a team that was better than us, that was Senegal. Other than that, we were almost perfect. We were a perfect team. We went all the way to the final without conceding a goal, scoring in every game, winning every single game in regulation time. We did not need any extra time, so every game was won. And these teams included Nigeria. These teams included Tunisia, who we had on the way. So yeah, I'm not a Karsi boys that they will make their names. But guys, I'm not what time next but I'm not fuck you ampur, you know. New Emal Kofini because but anyways, you guys have anything that I have not discussed during this video that you will want me to discuss, please comment in the comment section and I will try to address you. We can I'm always there, so I'm always gonna reply to every single comment that we have. And guys, please again, if you are new around the Jollof Football Bantaba YouTube channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps us grow. And also, if you like what we do, guys, give us the thumbs up, ne? Give us the thumbs up. We like it. And yes, my guy, affaire bi daal am naa ci fii leen koy emal. So bii ma joxaat leen beneen jotaay, hopefully soon. Expect more videos like this on the Jollof Football Bantaba YouTube channel. Coach Che is going to react on the African Cup of Nations team of the competition and then tell us what he thinks about it. He's my coach, so you know he watched the game, so he can give you the insight. So we look out for that video and a lot more videos. We'll try to share as many videos as possible. The World Cup is coming. We are gonna be here and we are not going anywhere, guys. So bii ñu joxaat leen jotaay bii ba beneen yoon, guys. Suma guys, yéen a ko gis.